Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming out. What a great turnout. Beautiful day. Good afternoon and welcome to our distinguished guests, community members, and friends. And Judy said, "Do you have a long speech?" It looks like you have a long speech. I said the font size is really large. So no, it's not a long speech, Judy. We are here today to rededicate a remarkable work of art. The sculpture stands as both a testament and a tribute to the enduring spirit of those who throughout history found themselves on the margins, excluded from conventional life. Created by the phenomenal Preston Jackson in 2001 and recently restored by Dan Rithaler. Where you at, Dan? Right there, okay. And Preston's right over here, sitting by Steve. And sponsored by Joy Kessler. Today, the piece also stands as a loving homage to Steve Shostrom, my friend, riverfront advocate, community leader, and Joy's husband. Flight of the Cakewalkers is not just a piece of art, it is a narrative forged in steel and bronze, a vivid portrayal of the victories and the struggles of all people who are at one time or another felt excluded. Each symbol adorning this work tells a story, a chapter of our collective past that continues to echo through the corridors of our present and will resonate in our future. From the studio of Preston Jackson, here is a statement about this piece. This sculpture represents the victories and struggles of all people throughout our history who have felt at one time they were excluded from the mainstream. Many symbols adorn this work. There is the representation of strong womanhood in the form of a single face, which represents people such as Ida B. Wells and Mary Church Terrell. And you'll see that image on the back part. There is the sign of the two-headed poisonous snake moving both north and south. There is the symbol of the family as the couple jumps over the wedding broom. And most of all, there is the large plantation house that represents the exploitation of the labor of those who had no control over their lives. They are not just symbols, they are beacons of resilience and courage, guiding us to a more just and inclusive society. Yet there is also a symbol of the ongoing struggle to overcome that which seeks to divide us, a reminder that our battles for justice are not confined to a single place or time. As we see the couple leaping over the wedding broom, we are reminded of the sanctity and strength of the family unit, particularly in the face of adversity. This act, rooted in tradition, symbolizes love, commitment, and the unbreakable bonds that sustain us, even in the most challenging of times. And the structure, a plantation house, it stands as a reminder of the harsh realities of our history, yet also as a testament to the indomitable spirit of those who, despite unimaginable hardships, never lost sight of their humanity or their hope. Today, we rededicate this sculpture not just as a work of art, but as a living, breathing piece of our community's heart and soul. This rededication is made all the more meaningful as we honor Steve Shostrom and his efforts as a beloved riverfront and community advocate. I have known Steve and his wife Joy for many years, and when I think about Steve, the first word that comes to my mind is caring. His consideration is evident for those he led as race director for the Steamboat Classic, or the care he gave to his customers who came into Running Central. But it also extends to the community and especially to the riverfront. Steve has volunteered his time tirelessly to improve our city and our riverfront, leaving an indelible mark on both. Joy, thank you. Thank you for your care, my friend, in restoring this beautiful piece. Excuse me. So it can not only continue to be enjoyed by our community members, but also so that it can serve as a reminder of your husband, his advocacy, his care for others, and his unwavering commitment to the riverfront and our city. Thank you to Preston Jackson for creating a piece and sharing it with our community. We're grateful that he continues to share his talents and vision for all of us, and that we continue to learn from Preston Jackson. And thank you, Steve Shostrom. Through countless volunteer hours spent on the riverfront and working with the Park District, I'm reminded of a quote by Mother Teresa. I alone can't change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples. Thank you, Steve, for all those ripples that you have created on the riverfront and beyond. And now I'd like to turn it over to Emily Cahill, the Executive Director or CEO of the Peoria Park District. Emily?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I am honored and humbled to get to stand in front of you today to celebrate Steve Shostrom. I have been able to see firsthand his enthusiasm for this community and his generosity of time, talent, and treasure to make Peoria better. His commitment to the creation and administration of the Steamboat Classic race, development of the riverfront for economic and recreational pursuits, support of recreation programs and leisure services for people of every age, and his work to promote Peoria in an effort to better the quality of life in our community still impacts our experiences today. In addition to Steamboat, for over 20 years he assisted the Park District in conducting the Turkey Trot and Glen Oak Zoo Run, both of which still happen today. Steve was an active member of our Recreation Advisory Committee for more than 20 years and a part of our Regional Trail Advisory Task Force for another 10. He lent his knowledge of the community and recreation needs and desires to the district's Board of Trustees and to staff. He chaired a subcommittee charged with exploring ways and means to promote a greater awareness of Proctor Recreation Center, which resulted in an agreement for the use of Proctor by the Downstate Afro-American Hall of Fame Museum and a Peoria Area Arts and Science Council grant that funded the development of a community choral program at Proctor. I first got to spend time with Steve related to his advocacy around GED programming and the Moonlight Coalition for Adult Learning that supports GED education for people of all ages. From the first 5 minutes of our interaction, his passion and capacity was clear. He was stubborn. She said caring, I say stubborn, and bright and witty, and I am grateful for the time that I got to spend with him and learn from him, and still do. On behalf of all of the people of the Park District and beyond who had the same experiences and time spent with Steve, first I want to thank all of you, his friends and family, for helping him to shine, and to Steve himself for continuing to push us all. I can't imagine a better person to be honored here than Steve Shostrom by Preston Jackson and Joy, and I'm honored to be a small part of the celebration. Thank you.
Well, thank you all for coming. This is wonderful to see all these people from Chicago and from Peoria. Thank you so much. So I'd like to thank Preston Jackson for creating this imposing, meaningful sculpture, and Dan Rithaler, who has brought it back to its former glory. Steve has always felt the riverfront should be the crowning jewel of downtown Peoria. He often quoted Daniel Burnham, "Make no little plans." He worked for years with groups to complete the multi-use trail and encouraged recreation and the arts to draw people to this space. My parents, Nat and Sarah Kessler, would be pleased to know that they funded the renovation of this Preston Jackson sculpture, which will grace the riverfront in Steve's name for years to come. Thank you all. And this concludes the ceremony.
And if you haven't, take a closer look. Now's your time.
Very good.